fights with the millions.
It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat flow. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back. In fact, this monster will go. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan, and you have no need to know. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.
Sports Professor. Oh,
Yo, 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 what up? What up? What up, friends? You know who it is. Ball and Buds is back at it again. I am Omar, the Professor Fonseca, and this is the Professor's Semanalmente Sports and Entertainment Edition. And you see we have a very, very special guest on. Yes, my brother from...
Had to pick on Big Bro today.
Formerly from the Bottom Line Sports. And yes, we are going to talk all about that today and other sports and entertainment news. My brother Hot Take Jake, how are you doing today, my friend?
Man, I miss busting your ass each week. With the stupidity you sometimes you and Clubber D really rub me the wrong way. I'm out there at the gym clanging and banging, and I hear some bullshit from y'all. I don't know, man. Y'all be going crazy sometimes. I'm like, what the hell? Clubber D be hating. You and y'all be saying some wild stuff, bro.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I think
Ryan Garcia? Are y'all hating on my boy Ryan?
I mean, we're not hating on him as a boxer. We're hating on him as a racist.
Well, yeah, he is that.
That's the difference. See, if you don't act out and you don't do stupid shit like be racist to other people, which is just dumb in general, then you wouldn't be talked about on the program. But when you do stupid shit like that, it needs to be called out. I think you would agree.
He's an idiot for what he did. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I would say this. He needs to get back on drugs. He's shit without it. I'm just calling a spade a spade.
That's fantastic. That is tremendous. I recommend, sir, that you get back on drugs because you were less racially aggressive when you were high. That's great. Well, you never want to be that guy, I guess. At least when I was baked, that was always fun. Anyways, yes. What's up?
The Sean O'Malley. Were you shocked by it?
Sugar Sean O'Malley. Yeah. Well, you know what? We were going to talk UFC 316 a little bit anyway. So yeah, let's talk about it now. First, okay. let me make sure we touch on everything first. Y'all make sure that you subscribe at Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. It's on YouTube. There's a handy QR code right up top. That'll take you to our link tree where you'll be able to find all the different links. You can subscribe to our YouTube, follow our Instagram, Clubber D's, TikTok, all kinds of good stuff there. So please make sure that you do that. And as well, please subscribe and tap in with my brother's podcast, the Final Say podcast with him, Matt and Juan. You can tell these guys have known each other a while because they just like treating each other like old friends, just like Clubber D and I do, just like whatever, just going at it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, exactly. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of y'all literally. I know y'all been knowing each other for a while. We've known each other for about 9 years now.
Okay.
But yeah, we've just been shit talking the whole time.
And I like the different personas. Like Matt is very quiet, but he's like very precise. And Juan is like kind of like he wants to. He's like, I don't want to say a goofball, but he's very personable. He's very like exuberant most of the time. And then you're just a dumbass.
You know who I am. Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny as shit. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and touch on UFC right now. Then, so UFC 316 this past weekend. Obviously, we'll talk about the and the main event. So you asked about Sugar Sean versus Merab Dvalishvili. Excuse me. Merab Dvalishvili, the defending champion who took the belt from Sugar Sean O'Malley, did defend his championship, choking Sean O'Malley out. I figured that was what was going to happen. Clubber D was 3-2 in his Club Bangers, by the way, picks for the week. So just to let everybody know that, I only pick the co-main and main usually. And I
actually thought that was how it was going to go. I didn't see. As Clubber D said, it was going to be similar to the first fight. Sugar Sean didn't show that. I mean, other than being quiet up to the fight and not talking as much trash, which was a pleasant
Y'all
surprise.
said that on your pod. I heard y'all say it that he was being very quiet the whole time.
It didn't prove to help anything though, because he still got choked out. So what did you think?
It hurts me because I think that was the end of an era of one of the greatest.
Wait, you think come on, he's still really young though. Come on now. Sugar Sean is still very young. Very young. Isn't he only
Can
like
he
20
bounce
something?
back, bro?
He's only 20 something, right? There's no way he can be done. You know how
You know,
the UFC rotates champions and brings them back. Come on now.
Omar, I think he's about to have a Ronda Rousey life.
Oh, okay. So you think
I think it's short lived. He had a very high, and he will never get back to that spot again.
So
That's what I saw.
maybe like wrestling or something is what you're thinking. He's going to go WWE style.
Well, and what I mean by Ronda Rousey is, remember she was knocking everybody's
No.
ass out.
I'm yeah, not literally, but yeah, I got you.
Well, yeah, I mean, he might as well go there. I mean, if you want, he does have good trash talk, I guess you could say. He's going to remind me of Connor in a way, just with less pizzazz. How Connor kind of ended up leaving. And if he keeps coming back, I think he's done for, bro. I don't think he got anything left in him. I'm sorry. I think once you start losing continuously. It's a slap in the face, man.
That's not necessarily wrong. We have obviously that's not 95% of the time. You see some people that do actually come back when being down, but yes, most of the time, once you start to lose that momentum, you end up the ball rolls down the hill, the rock rolls down the hill. You end up losing more and more as it goes on, and you end up becoming what Clubber D likes to call the gatekeepers, which is not a good place where you want to be, but I still think a lot of those gatekeepers are downright dogs that beat the shit out of people. So
can I ask you one question? Is there a star in that league right now?
In the UFC?
Yes. Yeah, is there a star in the league to where you can be that pumped up?
I mean, you're not talking like a Conor McGregor star right now because John Jones doesn't fight very active, not at all, and isn't very active at all for the company either. And like Sugar Sean was one that you could have looked at like that. Obviously, when you're looking at someone like what's his name? God, I'm blanking on his Makhachev, right? He is the best in UFC right now, but the problem is he's not that great of a talker. It's language.
That's what I'm saying. That's not a star. That's like having Tim Duncan.
There's no Conor McGregor right now. No, there is not. Unless John Jones was to come back and fight.
I think that's the only thing hurting this damn franchise. Omar, come on, man. We need to have that.
Yeah, but the thing is, and you know what? We were going to talk about this later anyway, so we might as well talk about this now. With them being rolled into TKO, Endeavor, with Dana White, Turkey Al-Sheikh, and all of these under this company now, there's going to be less that Dana White is going to need to be relied upon and more resources, although, as we heard recently, the whole company is about $3 billion in debt, apparently.
I heard you read that. Allegedly. I heard you read that.
So I hope that number is not exactly true because that would be bad. But at the same time, Turkey Al-Sheikh does have a lot of money. So we'll see. I don't think it's really going to be an issue in the long run of things other than the power struggle between The Rock and Triple H. But what I do see happening is the pooling of the resources, the pooling of the fighters, the pooling of stars, boxers and wrestlers and UFC and MMA collaborating, they already started going to each other's shows.
I get that. Here, not to cut you off. Omar,
no, please.
But if you have WWE right there in your back pocket, why don't you use them to promote your fighters in a way? Like just kind of go to them and have a school session of how to promote, how to be a good talker. They're missing that.
That would be the first thing I would do if I was Dana White. That was a damn astute and amazing observation by you. I think that might be the best sports advice you've ever given. I think that might be the best.
That's up there with the Carmelo one.
No, that's not okay. Don't you? Oh my God!
Don't hate.
That video was popular because everybody hated on your take. Carmelo Anthony is a Hall of Famer, so shut your mouth. All right. Anyways, so what do you think about that whole in-debt situation, TKO? The Rock Triple H power struggle coming about. How do you feel about all that?
I want to know why The Rock is trying to do. I hope it's not true. Here's why.
What would make you think it wouldn't be true though? Because it does seem like And I love The Rock, but it does seem like that's the angle that has been
It
taken.
seems more true, especially that
Yeah.
The Rock threw them under the bus. Did you see how
Mm.
he threw them under the bus not too long ago about the whole? How come The Rock wasn't at WrestleMania? And he went on Pat
Mm.
McAfee show and explained, "Hey, they begged me to go on that. Remember how he made it turn on them? How he got John Cena to turn and do that?
Mm.
He said I wasn't even supposed to come back. He said Triple H and Nick Khan called me up and say, "Hey, our ratings are down at Elimination Chamber.
Mm.
Can you please come over here and help us out a little?" He says, "Okay, I'll go by." But now that the fans turn on him and say, "Why weren't you at WrestleMania?" He says, "I wasn't even supposed to be at fucking Elimination Chamber."
Mm.
So
Mm.
I agree with. That's why I'm a little scared. Here's the only thing I have issues with. Yes or no? And I love The Rock. The Rock as a wrestler, businessman. I love him too because he's a great businessman. But when it comes to the world of professional wrestling, WWE, is he going to put that in his first and foremost? Because he's still making these movies. I know Triple H is sitting there and in the back room every week doing his stuff for, you know what I mean?
No,
He's over there
exactly.
making the storylines.
That's the
The
thing
Rock's
is
not
The
going to do
Rock.
that. He's doing movies.
Yeah, that's the thing. He was already a part-time wrestler, and he already runs the UFL. How's he gonna be able to run the WWE? Now he could run it and have underlings
Unless he
do
has
everything.
people helping him. I know his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, is a big helper of him that
Sure,
she's
but if
helped
you
him
get
build.
rid of Triple H, you're not getting rid of the infrastructure. You're still keeping most of the people. You're just getting rid of him. You could always pick somebody to fill his position. There's
Do
plenty
you
of
think the
Shawn
Triple
Michaels.
H
Shawn
era
Michaels
has
could do what Triple H does.
well, I don't know if would Shawn Michaels do that to his own best friend?
No, I don't think so. I'm just saying he could. I'm just saying this is
Well,
one
I'm
thing.
gonna ask you this: do you believe after the Vince McMahon era, Triple H has done a good job?
I
I
do.
would say so.
I do.
I would
Yes.
say so.
No,
Yeah.
actually, I think at the end of Vince McMahon's era, it was declining for sure. Especially COVID hit it hard, and Vince wasn't able to do the things he wanted to do, and that really hit it hard. But I think that Triple H has done a really good job because one of the things that really pissed me off that Vince did, but he ruined NXT for me. Once NXT went from black and gold to this tie-dye colored bullshit that they had for like 3 months, I completely tuned out. And by the time I tuned in, there was a bunch of young bloods I ain't never heard about in my life, and I was like, I don't want to watch any of these people. And I watched Battleground last night just to check out like what. And I only liked two people, Obafemi and Trick Williams, and the rest of them were just like, who cares?
You know how I know they're failing right now because they're trying to they're trying to practically buy out TNA.
Well,
Did you
I
notice
mean,
that TNA is slowly coming to them? Their wrestlers are start. I think that they know that NXT is failing, so they're just going to buy TNA and have them as practically the next NXT. That's my guess.
the
That'd be
partnership
my guess.
the partnership is very hot, that's for sure. Because AEW does have their independent partnerships, so WWF wanted to make sure that they were at least getting their hand in there at least. But the one they really did buy out already was AAA. So you saw they did Worlds Collide for free on YouTube
Yes,
this past weekend. So they bought out AAA pretty much. So they're going to be having AAA wrestlers in all of their stuff, which is going to be awesome. I love that.
I agree.
Conan on the mic made me pop, and I thought it was tremendous. So, all right,
I
cool.
completely agree.
All right, cool. Well, the other fight in UFC 316, obviously the co-main event, and what got me the most hyped was after Kayla Harrison, the Olympic judo champion, beat the the UFC champion, Juliana Pena. Kayla Harrison called out one GOAT out of the crowd, one double champ out of the crowd, and called Amanda Nunes out. And we are going to see a Kayla Harrison Amanda Nunes fight. What do you think about that?
Do you think it was too soon?
I mean, it could have been. You could have
I'm
probably
just worried. I
let her
think
get it like
Amanda is gonna
a defend
bust her
in between.
ass.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
just tells me there's gonna be an ass busting, and I
Maybe
think
maybe let her get one defense in. Yeah.
I'll give it to her. And you know what? Other people would try and get more come up fights after they win the title and have the other come up, and then they go in for the heavyweight. The big fight.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, she took it. She now wants to call out the best in the biz. Go ahead. I mean,
Hey.
I'm worried a little bit. I'll say that.
I'm
I'm
not
worried.
gonna lie to you. If I was there, if I was her and UFC, I would have wanted to, even if it was me personally too, I would have wanted to at least defend it once or twice first, because Amanda
with some
Nunes.
bumps.
Amanda
With some
Nunes
bumps.
is not old. Amanda Nunes is not old. She retired pretty for UFC because fighters fight till they're, in their late 30s.
30s.
She still got it in her, and I could definitely see her pulling the victory out now. I have to examine the matchup further, and me and Clubber D will obviously do that
I know.
when the
I can't
time
wait to listen
comes.
to Clubber D's expertise on it
Me
and what he
either. I can't.
says.
I can't wait to see what he says either. So we'll let
Shout
y'all
out
know and
Clubber.
update y'all when that comes further. One other story we'll update you with on Clubber D as well when that comes up. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Is Netflix has agreed to Netflix will be showing the Canelo Alvarez Terrence Crawford matchup on September 13th in Vegas. It is going to be the first fight of the TKO Boxing League. Which is that TKO group we just talked about with UFC, WWE, partners with Turkey, Al Sheikh, and the Saudi, Saudi Fund, the Saudi Boxing Federation. How do you feel about Netflix streaming this? And I mean, obviously, it may be a little far out, but who do
What
you
was
think will win?
Netflix's last fight?
Mike,
Wasn't there a fight?
Mike Tyson
And
and Jake Paul.
and didn't it have a bad loading at times?
It did, yes, it
Okay,
did. Mhm.
Omar, what are we
But
doing
they
here,
did,
buddy?
but they did wrestling after. They did WWE after, and it went off without a hitch.
Well,
So there's that.
WWE has done well, and then they've done NFL since then too. The NFL on Netflix as well. I'll
Mm-hmm.
say this: the fight I'm ready for. Man, boy, you couldn't. And I hope Dana White's he better do a 10 out of 10 with the promoting of this. I better see some promotions a month out, 2 months out. They talking shit. I want to see it all. Netflix, hold your freaking game, bro. You want to be the star of the show? This is the time.
Yes, that's
If you
right.
want to put whenever it was in their prime and Floyd had was it HBO? Who was he with? Was it HBO or Showtime where he was with?
I
Where he
believe
was
he was with Showtime. I thought.
okay. You knew to get Showtime right then and there because you were gonna watch Floyd Money.
Mm-hmm.
If Netflix
Mm-hmm.
wants that here, the biggest fights of them all. This is when the iron's got to strike right here, Netflix. You better not
Mm-hmm.
fuck it up. You better not. Because if you do, it's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
slap in the face to everybody, and I'm going to hate it. I'm going to hate the hell out
Mm-hmm.
of it. I better not see no streaming and loading, and I'm checking Twitter, and they tell me Canelo already knocked the man out. I'm going
Ah,
to scream,
ah,
Omar.
ah, ah.
That
Oh,
happened
so
twice
so
already.
you do think that Canelo is going to knock him out? Then that's your
Oh
prediction.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it's.
Okay.
I'm sorry, bud.
No,
Good luck.
you're with Clubber D. You're with Clubber D. So Clubber D thinks that Canelo will win too because of the weight advantage and everything else. I think it'll be a lot closer than y'all think. I think actually Terrence might have a chance to even win the fight. But we'll get more from Clubber D when that time comes. It's still a few months away. So, all right. Thanks for your thing on that. But yeah, I agree. Netflix has to knock it out the park. You're right. Yeah, I can't believe it. You get away from the bottom line sports and you finally start giving some good takes. Canteen checking
Shut
in
your
says,
ass up.
fellas, what's up, Canteen? Our brother from the bottom line sports. Y'all make sure
What
you
up,
tap
bro?
in with them whenever they start back up again. Because Hot Take Jake and I had to go. There were things that have to happen, and we will give you the rise and fall of the bottom line sports here at the end of the show. But that's a tease. You got to stay till the end because we got some more things to talk about. First things. Oh, another thing before we get into the NBA playoffs or into NBA finals. This is real quick. What did you think about WWE WrestleMania, which was supposed to be in New Orleans, and I was planning on going to because it's only 3 hours away. Now going back to Las Vegas for a second year next year, which I'm probably still going to go to, but now that means I got to fly across the country. How do you feel about that? You're closer, so it doesn't matter.
I want to ask you this. What do you think happened behind the scenes? Why they backed away from New Orleans?
That's a
If
great
your guess, what's your
question.
guess on that? What would you guess? Because you don't do that as a big company. Announce where you're about to go and then change it. And then fucking Triple H. If you do it, one thing I've learned, if you do it twice, it's better. Shut up, man. You had nowhere else to go. You were
Right.
fucking scrambling.
So some rumors that I've heard, and I have not corroborated these rumors from any sources. So this does not apply to anyone I know, any wrestlers, anybody I know, people in the industry. That doesn't mean I've talked to them about this. But rumors have spread from everything from obviously the money thing that we talked about earlier, and WWE needing to put on multiple shows. We see the other day that they did Money in the Bank and Worlds Collide in the same day because they need to start selling live gate tickets because they're underwater when it comes to their finances, is something I have heard. Now, again, I have not corroborated that, so don't take that as source, but sounds pretty accurate to me when you hear the other things coming out about also TKO in general being underwater. Also, I've heard other things such as Vince McMahon trying to come back into the scene and that causing issues with certain organizations that didn't want to be associated with him.
Okay.
So those are two different rumors I've heard. Again, nothing confirmed. What do you think?
I think it's just they're scrambling. It's like somebody telling me that they got me a gift, and I come and find out that it's a shirt that they have in the closet that they grabbed from their closet. That's exactly what I got from it. I'm just calling a spade, Omar. I felt I opened the Walmart bag and it looked exactly like the shirt you wore on Tuesday the week before last. That's what they
Yeah,
did with doing the whole entire bringing Las Vegas into this bullshit once again. One
I
thing
don't.
I've learned, you do it twice.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually that big of a deal in terms of them going to Vegas versus New Orleans. I mean, it's worse for me because I got to travel further, but and because the last time I went was in New Orleans, or the first time I went was in New Orleans, or the first and the last. But I do believe there is some truth to the money issue and to having 2 nights in Vegas is going to generate a whole lot more money than 2 nights in New Orleans would
Well, I
have.
was about to ask you that. Hold on here. You just got the event last year. You're saying that the people in Las Vegas are going to be just as intrigued to go again for the
Well, it
next
doesn't
exact
matter
year?
about the people in Vegas. Remember, Vegas is one of the most transient cities on earth. So it doesn't matter about the people that are in Vegas. You
I
got to
don't
think
know,
about all.
Omar.
You got to think about all the people like Wildcard Mar who went. You got to think about me who's going to go next year. You got to think about people traveling from all over the world. I mean, people don't just come to WrestleMania in the United States. People come from Australia, in England, and India, and everywhere. Dog, come on now. You know it's a global.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
just saying, they
I
better
know.
match.
Hey,
Hey, they better match or they better exceed their attendance. You know how they do their. Hey, Stephanie
I,
will come out. The attendance is so high. It's the biggest ever. I better see that. I better see
always.
that
I
shit.
mean, they're going to do that anyways, even if it's true or not. They always have. But I will say this: when I was in New Orleans, or when I went to New Orleans, the tickets for the upper deck were not bad at all. Like I don't remember how expensive they were because my girlfriend at the time bought them for me for my birthday, but I think they were like I want to say it was like 100, 150, 250 at the
Is
most.
this a story where you were able to fucking jump from like the top all
Oh,
the way to the inside, practically
fucking
to go
fucking
floor,
tremendous. Look,
seats?
shout out to my girl at that time that we ended up breaking up. Things happen, and that apparently was going to happen anyways. So hey, better earlier than never, and I'm glad it actually happened at that time because had she gone, I would not have been able to pull this off. But yeah, she did. She ended up not going, and I ended up going on my own, and I parlayed the upper seat. And I snuck down into. I said, "Fuck the upper seat," and I snuck down into the lower level. And what happened was I always try to find a gate. If I do, I'm not gonna say I do this often, uh, but whenever I'm doing something like this, I always look for a gate that the person isn't really paying attention or there is nobody, and walk in with a bunch of people, and usually no one will say anything. So at this point in time, there was like I think the person was busy or there was no one there or they weren't looking. Just walked in with people. I went down and I saw to the left there was a whole empty section, but there were like scatterings of people sitting there, and they were all the way down by the entrance ramp, the long ass WrestleMania entrance ramp, but close enough to the ring where they were just like a couple. It was like 3 sections from the ring. So I was like, holy shit. So I just started walking down there, acting like I knew where I was. I saw a guy and his son in the row, and I just sat right there on the end of the row, a seat down from them,
That's
acting
fucking
like I knew
trucker,
them.
man.
And I fucking sat there for about. I sat there for the first. I sat there for most of the show, and then when it was like the main event came on or something like that. No, I think it was earlier than that because I wanted to go to the bathroom and get a beer and stuff, and I wasn't going to try to get back in the
Was
same
this
way.
was this before they did the 2 nights? Was it still in the 1 night
This
time?
was still one night. This was
Okay.
2018. This was. And then so anyways, I went back out and I went to the bathroom, got a beer, came back down, and then I just went down and just found an empty seat in like that 100 section down there, closer to the center where I could see the ring. And I just found a spot and I sat down, and no one ever came or said anything. I just sat there the rest of the show. Amazing,
Okay.
best time ever. I love it. That was tremendous.
Lucky
Yes,
Funk, man. Lucky Funk.
dude, I was like this close to the entrance ramp. It was great. It was like when I was at the Celtics game and me and my dad sat right next to the players' tunnel. It was tremendous.
Oh, were you right there?
Oh my God! I thought I saw you do the pictures. Like, all right, the Celtics bench is here. We were right here on these seats, number 6 and 7, right here in the middle, and the players' tunnel was here. When Porgy made his injury come back like Willis Reed, he was slapping us fives as he was going by. That's how close we were.
Oh my God!
Get out of here, son. You know I'm a baller. I don't sit nubs. I don't do nubs. Okay, I'm a baller for a reason. Look at this $1,000 watch I got. There's $1,000 Tucci on the wrist. That's what money does for you, baby. Come on.
Oh man, get out of here! That watch looks as bad as Lil Wayne's new album. Stop
Yeah.
that.
Well, first of all, you're not going to hear any disagreement from me. I do not like Lil Wayne's music. Never have, never will. Thinks it sucks. And so there you go. I won't be listening to it anyways. So, all right. Canteen says, I'll be tuned in, fellas. Hey, we'll be getting there in just a little bit, my friend. Let's move on to the NBA Finals since we only got you for an hour more. Thunder.
You good?
Made sure that Lightning didn't strike twice in OKC. They had that shocking Game 1 loss. Halliburton again coming up clutch. His 6th go-ahead or game-tying shot in the last 90 seconds of the game. The Pacers' 5th go-ahead bucket, game winning bucket in the playoffs overall. This is crazy. The legend of Halliburton lives on, but then the next game, he does something he normally does, at least once in the series, where he ends up not shooting the ball, even though he's the damn best player on the team. Shoot the damn ball. I know Miles Turner was hot, but come on now, 13 shots ain't going to do it. Anyways, Oklahoma City blew them out last night. Or the night before. And so now it is 1-1 ahead of Game 3. Oklahoma City is still the by far favorite to win this series. What have you thought so far, and what do you think going forward?
I think the Pacers need to step up because Hallie can't do it by himself. This is frustrating to watch. This is what really annoys me. How in the hell, Halliburton, bro? It's the finals. There are times where you got to say, "Fuck everybody."
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I'm sorry. I'm going all out. It's time to turn into Kobe at that time, bro. Nobody wants to grab the ball from you. F it. Take it yourself. I don't give a shit, man. I don't care if you go 16 for 41. At least you're throwing it everything you got. I'm sorry. They have a puncher's chance. And I'm going to ask you this here in a minute. SGA is looking like the best player in the league now, bro. It's scaring me. It's scaring me. Not only that, I think this is the dynasty in the making. And it worries me because there's only one team that can stop this dynasty. I love San Antonio Spurs. Don't worry. Shout out my boy Wimby. Get ready. The alien himself is on his way.
I mean, if y'all get Durant, then hey,
I hope we don't get him. I want. You know, I want Greek Freak. Why do I want Rudy Gay himself? I don't want that guy.
I forgot. I
No,
forgot about
I don't
Rudy
want
Gay.
him, bro.
I forgot about the Rudy Gay. It's been too long.
I don't want him.
Get out of
As
here,
I'm gonna say, back to the game, the series. The next 2 games are gonna be telling because everybody that I'm talking to is telling me Thunder are gonna win the next 2 easily.
I mean,
I thought Thunder were gonna win in 5, but it just got. I'm rooting for the underdog. Halliburton shows out one of those games and turns into Reggie Miller, bro, and does another choke on their ass. Oh, by the way, can they stop copying the legends, bro? I had that fight on my pod. I'm gonna say
I heard that on your pod.
Why are you copying the legends? Can we make our own?
I heard y'all talking about Kevin Garnett and Jason Tatum, so don't try to bring Jason Tatum up.
You're damn right. You already know what I was going with that one. Jason Tatum didn't even know how to make his own moment at all. He was copying Kobe. He was copying KG, copying Kanye West.
No.
He was copying all these idiots.
Don't do that.
Make your own moment. I love it. It's more authentic when you make your own. Hell, do it like you're hanging this way or something, man. Don't don't follow Reggie's. Do your own. You did. If somehow the Pacers win, I'm gonna ask you 2 questions real quick.
Yeah.
If the Pacers win, does Halliburton become the greatest Pacer of all time?
No. What?
Why not? Why not?
Reggie Miller is got to be the greatest. I mean, I can't think of anyone else. I'm trying to think before Reggie Miller.
Omar.
I know
I'm
he didn't
pointing
win
at
a
something.
title. I don't care. No. One ring for Halliburton wouldn't put him above a ringless Reggie Miller. No, he would have to win at least two. At least two. It's like Dan
What?
Marino. It's like Dan Marino. I'm not putting many quarterbacks above Dan Marino, even though he never won a championship. I'm putting Dan Marino in my top 5, top 10 of all time, even though he never won a championship. Now, I'm not doing the same for Reggie, but I am putting Reggie above Halliburton. Come on now. Even if there's only one title, he hasn't been around that long. Reggie had a lengthy run of greatness and against better players, may I add.
Yeah, you're reaching. Don't do that.
No,
Don't
there
do
you
that.
go. There you go.
He had one team to worry about.
Don't
The
do it.
cheating Bulls. That's
Don't do
about
it.
it.
Don't
He had
do it.
nothing else to worry about other than that.
The
That boy was not
Celtics,
great.
the Knicks,
So,
the Pistons,
so let
the
me get
bad
this
boy
straight.
Pistons. Get out of
If
here.
if
I forgot
SGA
you're too young for this. I forgot you're too young.
No, I watched all that. Don't do that. SGA Pistons. I mean SGA Pistons. If SGA wins, is he not the greatest Thunder of all time?
I mean, that's no. Again,
That's
no.
with Seattle. I'm counting Seattle's team at players too.
Yeah, then no, because I mean, you got to have Sean Kemp as your greatest
Bro, what are
supersonic
you
and player
doing?
of all
Yo,
time.
this is what I can't stand with you. And I'm part of getting into the old head type because I'm already in my 30s. So now guys, younger kids are calling me an old head. But let me tell you something, Trash Can. Y'all old heads cannot get past that your rosters were straight shit at a time. That y'all
Sean
could
Kemp is one of the best power forwards of all time. Shut
Omar,
your
3
mouth.
of your 5 players on the court couldn't shoot the damn ball, bro. All they could do was put back to baskets or try and drive. They were rim runners, bro. Nobody
Yeah.
could shoot the damn ball, man. Call a spade, Omar. Don't
Bro,
do that.
if you don't stop blaspheming the amazing legendary GOAT name of Larry Joe Bird, I will come through this camera and slap the shit out of you. All right, how about that?
Larry
You know
Joe
what?
Bird.
You ain't
Is
pissing
he
me
a
off.
top 25 player?
Larry
I didn't even know
Bird.
that.
Larry Bird is a top 5 player of all time. Top 5.
See them all, bro.
Top 5.
No. What?
Top 3 for me personally. Personally, for me, it's Jordan, Magic, and Bird, and no one else. That's my top 3. It's my top
Bird
3.
is in there, bro.
Bird is in there.
Oh, you're wild. You're wild, Omar. I got to hear your top 5 all time eventually. Your top 10,
Bill
honestly.
Russell and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar are also in there.
You've named at least 5 players from the 60s, practically in the 70s. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Are you? What was that idiot, that point guard for the Celtics back in the day? What was his
Actually,
damn
you know
name?
what? You know what? No, now that LeBron has passed Kareem in scoring, I would put LeBron in my top 5 now.
I would hope so.
But he's not above Bill Russell, the greatest champion ever. He's not above Michael Jordan, the greatest
Bill
basketball
Russell.
player of every time. He's not above Magic Johnson, the greatest
Wasn't Bill
leader
Russell
and
playing?
performer.
Was Bill Russell not
don't do
playing
that.
against plumbers and mailmans?
Don't do that. Don't do that. Kareem
They were playing
Abdul-Jabbar
part-time?
was in the league at the time, and there were other great players at the time. So don't try that. Yes. What was it? What was it? Was it a little less competitive because there were less teams and less talent? Yeah, but you also have to take that proportionally because that means those players also had less talent. If you would put Bill Russell in 2025, he'd be Victor Wembanyama times 8.
Shut the hell up. You're crazy.
Get the
Don't
hell
do
out of
that.
here with this.
That's dumb shit right
Let's
there.
get a comment
Boy,
from
you drunk.
Alan says, Jake, what are you smoking and where can I get some? Hey, Alan, our boy AP, Let's Talk Shorts. Shout out. He is smoking
Shout
that
out.
loud
Bro,
pack.
I ain't
That
smoking
obviously
nothing.
got him tripping. He don't know how to handle
Let
the
me
indica
guess.
or the sativa. What do you
Omar's
want?
got John Havlicek in the damn top 10 all time. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, look, John Havlicek is an
Man,
amazing
look
player.
at this guy. Yeah.
He is top 50. He is top 50 of all time. Top 50, yes.
He's not better than Kyrie.
I mean, no, because again, you have to look at that proportionally. Okay, even if you did look at that proportionally, I would still take Kyrie. But you have to look at those things proportionally when you're looking.
He's not better than Tony Parker, if we're being real. No, he's not better than Prime TP. Don't do that. If we're going a spade, there's certain guys. I wouldn't put him over Jarrett Jack. Remember Jarrett Jack from Golden State?
would
I'm
not
not
have
picking John
laced
Havlicek
up
over
the
Monte
shoes
Ellis.
of John
Oh, you're
Havlicek.
freaking crazy, bro.
Are
What are we
you
doing today,
of
Omar?
Hondo? John Hondo? Is that the Havlicek? Are you talking about Hondo? Is that who you're talking about? Tell
I'm
me
talking
that's who
about the
you're
guy
talking
that was
about.
shooting 5-foot jumpers and they thought he was raining threes.
Okay.
Yeah, that guy. Yo. He's shooting his lights out. Well, he's about 5 feet from the basket. Get out of here.
And there was no one defending him. There were no defenders on him. Is that what we're doing
Like
now?
I said, bro. Yeah, it was Tom that just finished fixing my grandma's toilet seat, bro. Yeah, there was Tom over there, bro. Yeah, come on, man, get out of here.
Nah, man, that's fucked up. John Havlicek won 8 NBA championships, way more than your bum ass Tony Parker, who wouldn't have won any if it wasn't for Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan. So get the hell out of here.
You're such a hater.
Thank you, AP. Thank you, AP. This is what you happen when you give a Texas fan too much. Thank you, AP.
Hey,
Thank
shout out
you.
my Longhorn softball team. You saw her. Mia
Oh,
Scott.
see, I'm glad. I like the segue. Let's go ahead and move on to that. The Texas
Go ahead.
Longhorns beat Texas Tech. Oh, wait a second. Michael Enoch wants to know, what is your top 5? Mine, it's NBA. It's NBA players.
Oh, NBA?
Jake,
You
what
going?
are yours? I already went.
Okay.
I just went. Yeah.
LeBron. I'm going to go LeBron.
Of course.
LeBron, Tim Duncan. I'll put Michael Jordan after.
My bad. Say
And
that again.
then-
Hold on. Go
So,
back. Who?
LeBron, Tim Duncan, Michael
Oh,
Jordan.
God bless. Tim Duncan.
Yes, he deserves it. He
Okay.
should be 6-0.
All right.
Man, the last two are tough. But I'm going to go ahead and put Magic. And last but not least, I know he doesn't get his repertoire. I'm going to throw Kobe in there. Kobe.
Okay,
Kobe
so we agree on 2 of the 5 with LeBron and Michael, which I think would be 2 of
Why
every
is Tim Duncan not in there?
top 5. Tim Duncan would actually be probably in my top 10. I love Tim Duncan. I was so upset when we got screwed, when the NBA screwed us in the draft and we didn't get Tim Duncan and y'all ended up getting him. I was so upset. I wanted Tim Duncan so damn bad.
Is he better than KG? Let me see how truthful you are.
Oh, man, that is
There's no freaking question. There's not even a question at all. Just answer the damn question as fast as you can.
That is tough, man. That is so
Tim Duncan over
tough.
KG. Yes, he's way better. Don't do that.
Tim Duncan is the big fundamental. I cannot take it away from him. He is the prototypical power forward of what you would want: scoring, rebounding, whatever. But KG's defense and intensity and legendary leadership and he can score and rebound and defend and assist and do all that too. I'm not going to take him over Tim Duncan, but I'm going to say it's a lot closer than you're making it out to be. If I were to put Tim Duncan in the top 10, top 15, I got KG in the top 20. So it's not like they're that far apart. But yes, I would put Tim Duncan ahead of KG probably.
Could I not say that that Dirk was better than KG?
No, don't you even dare. Don't you even dare. Stop with the blasphemy. Stop with the KG. I will not let this happen to you.
Before we go on, hold on. Let me just explain.
My brother KG, I will not let this happen. I promise. I let him
Dirk
go by. I'm sorry.
had the toughest road to a championship ever made.
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. He wasn't half the player KG was.
Jason Terry.
Look at the KG. Look at how physical KG had to play versus the finesse game of Dirk Nowitzki. Now I'm not saying he wasn't a great scorer, but
Ray Allen.
What does that mean? Dirk Nowitzki didn't have a good team around him.
I'm saying whenever Dirk won his chip, it was much strong. It was more of him than the team that year. That's why I believe that Dirk is overall better.
Didn't have JJ Barea.
No. I'm talking about that championship roster. Right. That was he had Jason Kidd, not Steve Nash that year. Don't do that. He had Jason Kidd.
I'll stick with my Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. I'll stick with my.
Hey, Drew.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Bird over Duncan all day. I would always say that, no doubt about it. Do you say that, Jake?
Duncan.
Jake,
that is so
be honest.
Dumb, man.
Be honest.
That is so dumb.
Be honest. You can't say it.
You know what makes Bird so good? It's because he was the loser mostly in the 80s to Magic most of the time. So it just
They won
frustrates
3
me.
championships. What are you talking about?
Yes, but Magic won
Oh,
his 5. Don't do that. Magic won his 5.
that doesn't make them losers. You act like they
I'm
lost
saying
every
you
single time.
lost more than you won against the.
Okay,
That's
we
why you're
beat
up
them
there.
every other time too, so whatever. But
That's like
okay,
me going
sure.
into I was
They
second
got
place
more
all the
championships.
time.
That's fine. They got more championships. I would give Magic. I would put
That's why I
Magic.
think Bird is
Why?
remembered.
Why do you think I listed it out? And Larry Bird is my favorite player ever. Why do you think I listed out Michael, Magic, and Larry? I have him third. Okay, he might be my favorite player ever. I don't have him over Magic
You
Johnson.
need to make your set more updated because you have a bunch of '80s players
Oh,
as your top
it's
3.
never going to change. LeBron is going to be the last entry into that 5. I can't see anyone on the horizon ever getting into that top 5.
Okay, hater.
And don't try with Victor, man. Don't try with Victor. He's too young. He's too young.
Yeah, don't do that. He's
He's too young. We have a Maravich over. Okay, now we go.
Yeah. You see this cry?
We're going a little too
Pistol
far
Pete.
now.
Pistol Pete.
Pistol
Man,
Pete
get out of
Maravich.
here.
That's right.
If you don't stop doing that bull crap, man, that guy's drunk right now. What in the blue hell? Pistol Pete over Timmy D?
Pistol Pete Maravich, baby.
Yeah, this guy's got to be 68. No
Yeah.
doubt in my mind. I'm going to check your Facebook later, Michael. You're 68. I know you
No,
are, buddy.
He actually
Pistol Pete.
He actually went to high school with me, but no. Shout out to Michael. Shout out, brother.
Shout out. All right, you want to transition? That's fun. We could go to my softball.
Yeah, so Texas beat the number 1 Texas Tech with Najee Kennedy, the best pitcher in the country, the one that they paid $1 million in NIL money to come and help them win the championship. I'm not going to say she's not worth every penny because she is. Just getting into the championship brings you way more than $1 million. And she was a shutdown pitcher the whole year. Now, did that last game go horribly? Yes. That thing got off the rails very quickly. It was 0-0 when I was on the program. Next thing I know, I got off and it was 10-1. And I was like, what the hell just happened? I just missed the whole game. What happened? I was ready for a good game. I had some dinner. I sat down for a good game. It was like
what the hell is this?
It was like 15 minutes before. I just said it was 0-0. I look at it. What the fuck? Damn it. All right. Baseball, something else. Anyways, how do you feel about your Texas Longhorns?
Mia Scott, bro. Did you see that third baseman? Mia Scott, bro.
She looks good.
Gosh.
Are you?
Don't I can't.
No, you can't do that. Come on,
I can't. I'm married, but she is the greatest. She is one of the best softball players right now. Playing on one ACL, mind you.
Oh yeah, that's the one that got no, she didn't get the winning hit in game 1, or did she?
No. She didn't get the winning hit, but she had that home run to
the
get
home
them
run.
up 4
That's
that
what it was.
fast.
Yeah. Okay.
She hit the grand slam, so it was a change of it. Proud of Texas. I think honestly these guys can repeat. I have a quick question for you, and I know you know more shit on this than I do. Is there a professional softball league? Do they have hope after? Okay, I was making sure. I did not know that. I was talking to my wife about that, and I said, "Man, these girls play really good. You know, it's making me want to watch more and more of them. They're some fighters."
It's not going to be like main source of income, to start off with. Right now, those sorts of leagues are just growing to get more of to make more of money for
Are you saying they're making more right now in college than they would in the professional?
Most likely, yes. I don't actually know I don't know the actual salaries of the professional softball league, but I would assume so. Yes, especially people like Najee Kennedy who are making $1 million. Of course, they are. But the thing they would want to do is go to the Olympics and represent the United States, and then get all the sponsorships. That would be the best way to go about doing that.
I got you.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was wondering on that. Like I said, these girls. What I've noticed in the recent, actually 2-3 years, women's sports is a lot more physical. If you ask me, they let a lot of physicality come in. I mean, I know we've been watching Caitlyn and Angel since they've jumped in to the WNBA. It's made it more eyes on that. And boy, do I love the physicality. It's what the NBA used to be, honestly, in my opinion, in so many ways. So, hey, shout out girls for the way they're physical. Boy, they be fighting out there.
Yeah, and they're putting more money into all of the women's sports and more promoting and things like that, which is helping to grow all these sports. And the women's sports are great. I love watching women's sports. They really are some good athletes. Now, obviously, is it the same level as the men? No, I'm not going to say that the basketball is the same WNBA and NBA. It's not, clearly. But is it still enjoyable to watch? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes is it? Sometimes.
And not only that,
sometimes is it not? Sure, but I mean, whatever. Who cares?
Exactly. What are we doing right now? What are we going
And
to
you
do for the
can
next 2 months?
right, and you can always change the channel if you don't like the game. So who cares? Anyways, all right, moving on from that. NHL Finals update: Edmonton Oilers, Florida Panthers. Wow, Florida with a absolute shellacking last night, 6-1 over the Edmonton Oilers. They now go up 2-1 in the NHL Finals, but do not count Edmonton out. They have been one of the best teams all year. They're led by the best hockey player in the world, Connor McDavid, and one of the other best, Leon Draisaitl, his Robin to his Batman. So you cannot count them out. But Florida Panthers are the defending champions and did just put a butt whooping on them in Game 3. How do you feel about this series, Hot Take Jake?
Well, here's the thing. I didn't get to watch game 2. I watched game 3.
Game 1 and Game
Uh,
2 both went to overtime, and game winners, it was
oh,
amazing.
really?
Yeah. It
Oh,
was good
okay.
until the
Okay.
third game. Yeah.
I was able to watch yesterday's when I was at the gym and I saw it while I was on my little treadmill trying to catch a Fat Take Jake to get into Hot Take Jake again. But uh yeah, bro. I did not know it was a blowout pretty fast. They destroyed. I will say the same thing you said. Don't count them out. The game to me is next game because I do think if Edmonton wins next game, they win it all. This is the game to tell me they can't catch up. Game 4 will tell me everything. Whether they're going to catch up or it's too far out. They won't catch up at all. 3-1.
Right.
Down 3-1. I don't think they can catch up. 2-2. Edmonton pulls it out. I will take Edmonton all day in the best of 3 with their best player in the world.
I agree with that completely. I had Edmonton winning the series, so that's how I'm looking at this as well. That's how it has to go down. All right, there you go. The French Open this weekend. Wow.
I heard somebody wasn't even made the list.
Who?
Was it Rory that he didn't make it?
Oh, no. I'm talking about tennis, not golf. Yes,
My
but
fault.
Rory.
My fault.
No, you're talking about golf. Scotty Scheffler has been the hottest golfer in the world for the past few weeks. He's won the past 3 or 4 tournaments. Rory McIlroy finished 8 over this past weekend at Oakmont. Did not have a good performance. I'm talking the French Open tennis. Rafael Nadal used to be the master here. He retired, and now his protege, Carlos Alcaraz, is the best player in the world, along with Yannick Skinner. They have formed a rivalry over the past few years. Now, we will have to remind everybody that Yannick Skinner is the one that tested last year positive for PEDs twice. Now, he was cleared because he actually gave the excuse of it being in something that he didn't know, and they actually investigated and found out it was the case.
They gave him a break.
Yeah, and they gave him a break, only gave him a 2-month suspension and didn't take a lot of money. A lot of players were pissed about this. Either way, these are your 2 best players for the foreseeable future, so you better look at these 2 guys for men's tennis. Alcaraz, what an amazing game this was. First of all, Yannick Sinner went up 2-0. And then Alcaraz was down 40-0 in Game 3 of the third game, which means if he loses that, he's going down 3-1 in a Game 4, and we know tennis has 6 sets, so 4 out of 6, which means Yannick Sinner pretty much would have been guaranteed
Back against
the
the damn wall.
of the
Back
game.
against the wall.
Against the fucking wall. 40-0. He comes back, wins that set 6-4, wins the next set 7-6 in overtime, and wins the final set 7-6 in a 5-hour and 29-minute final, the longest ever at Roland Garros in Paris. I will tell you, I watched the last half of this. I woke up. I didn't wake up for the first half because it started early, but I caught it about halfway through and watched the end of this, and this was amazing. I'm talking about these gentlemen were making shots that you wouldn't believe. They put on a show, making shots from corners, from under, it was crazy. Did you catch any of this? What'd you hear?
I didn't catch it. That's why I was shocked. I was thinking of golf. Man, I'm pissed off that I missed this whole damn thing. So it was that good.
Oh, definitely got to watch the highlights. If nothing else, go to YouTube
to.
and watch the highlights, because I'm telling you, these guys were hitting shots that looked unbelievable.
I forgot. Tennis just started. It's this time of the year now. Yeah, we're about to start seeing that shit.
Yeah, I love it. I love a good tennis matchup that's back and forth, and it's good like that, a good marathon. Like when they had Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal, that was 5 hours and 53 minutes back in the Australian Open in 2012. I watched most of that. I can get hooked on these back and forth tennis matches. There's good theater, good drama. Carlos Alcaraz by the way, has equaled, here's your professor stat, equaled Rafael Nadal with 5 Grand Slam titles by the age of 22, 4 more than Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic at that point.
Damn.
That's
Okay.
crazy. Yeah.
He's stepping up. I got you. I get it.
And on the American side, Coco Gauff snapped a decade-long drought for Americans at the French Open, defeating number 1 in the world, Arnia Sabalenka, on Saturday. The last American to win at Roland Garros was in 2015. The GOAT, Serena Williams. The 21-year-old Coco Gauff also won $3 million, bringing her career earnings to $27.3 million. And an American woman has now won the first 2 majors of 2025 after Madison Keys won the Australian Open. Wimbledon is up next, beginning June 30th. And what do you think
I ain't
about
missing
that?
that.
What do you think about Coco Gauff snapping the
Hey,
drought?
if they need a star, I'm telling you, Omar, especially with these single tournaments and all that, you need a star, in my opinion. If Coco can become that star, bro, I can't wait to watch it. That's what I'm saying. I need a star. I need a star to be invested in. That's what we need in tennis. Same thing the way we do with boxing. Same thing we do with UFC. I need my stars out there. Hey, if she's the next star, let's get it. I'm rooting for Coco now. Shit, man.
I completely agree. She's her and Madison Keys are the only two with a legitimate chance at the moment. Obviously, there's others in the pipeline that we may not know much about
right now.
But right now, those are your 2 top American women.
When's Wimbledon start again? June what?
June 30th.
That's right after the NBA Finals, bro. That's what's next in line for us.
Yep, here in about 3 weeks. Yep, you got that right. All right, cool. Do we have you till longer than 8:30 or just till 8:30? Because if we're going to move on.
Keep me longer a little. Yeah,
okay.
That's fine.
I just want to. Okay, cool.
I am going to leave and go grab my charger here in a sec, though, just to be safe.
Okay.
Just to grab it. It's right in the next room.
Oh, go grab it now while I introduce the MLB Power Rankings.
Okay, bet.
All right, cool. All right, moving on. Final story here in sports before we move on to the entertainment world. I have to get Hot Take Jake's take on the Diddy trial. You know we got to hear what he got to say. But first, let's give you your Major League Baseball Power Rankings of the week. Oh, let me catch up on some comments here. Michael, my bad, brother. Sometimes when I get to my notes, I'll be missing the comments. Arizona will win the College World Series. Hey, they've got a chance, but they got to go up against my UCLA Bruins, who are there as well. Neither of them are the favorites, obviously, but love watching the College World Series, Women College World Series. Love watching Reese build houses. That's funny. Referring to Angel Reese. Look, I can't hate on Angel Reese. She is a Maryland Terrapin, former Terp, so she is my brethren, and I actually like her game. Yeah, she's not the best shooter in the world. She's more of a Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone type, but I like her game, and I think she's a fearsome in the post. But yeah, she's not the greatest shooter in the world, but that's a skill that can be worked on, right? Also says, Oshie, making me retire feels old. Hey, happy retirement. Shout out to TJ Oshie, one of the legends with the Washington Capitals back in my hometown of the DMV. Shout out to him. Alex Ovechkin going into his final season after breaking Wayne Gretzky's record last year. We had the stretch run. We followed everything. So salute to Ovi for his last year and happy retirement to TJ Oshie. All right, bringing up those baseball power rankings for the week, MLB.com. Thank you for these. The Detroit Tigers. You heard it. The the Detroit Tigers are the best team in the league. And they're leading the league in ratings. Can you believe that? The Detroit Tigers are leading the league in ratings. A whole bunch of teams are at the top and really good this year. We've talked about them all, but the Tigers are by far been the best bunch of the year. The Cubs at number 2. They got PCA. I lamented last week how PCA was traded by my Mets. Now is going to be a future MVP. He's playing for the Chicago Cubs. They are playing amazing. They're at number 2. At number 3, the aforementioned my New York Metropolitans, baby. You see it. And now you see Juan Soto starting to get hot after everybody was on his ass. Not anymore. He is hot as a knife through butter, baby. Him Pete Alonso is on fire like no one's ever seen. Francisco Lindor from Caguas, Puerto Rico, my hometown. Love you, Francisco. He as well is heating up. The Mets are not one to be fucked with, and we are going to beat the Dodgers this year in the playoffs. At number 4, he came back in perfect time because we go to this bum's Yankees at number 4. I cannot hate, even though I hate against the Yankees, I cannot hate against Aaron Judge.
What the hell is Aaron Judge doing right now? Screaming. I want to hear it.
Aaron Judge, my friends, is on a tear of something like we have not seen in quite some time. Aaron Judge is hitting .395. I repeat, .395, almost 400, which is unheard of in this day and age. It's not Tony Gwynn. It's not Pete Rose. It's not all the great old timers that used to hit the Ichiro Suzuki. No. We are talking the big behemoth power hitter, the best home run hitter in the world. That might be debatable with Shohei now, but one of the best in the world is hitting .395 2 months into the season. Jake, now that I've hyped your bum-ass Yankees up enough, how do you feel?
Remember last year when y'all made fun of his ass for the World Series blunder he had?
I do.
He doesn't forget, bro.
Rightfully so.
The Yankees are in a fucking tear this year, and they're taking everybody in their way. Aaron Judge ain't playing. Not only that, we remember about that whole torpedo bat scandal. I love what we're doing right now. You know why? When the going gets tough, the tough get fucking going, Omar. And this year, these guys ain't gonna get cold when it comes playoff time. No, sir.
Shit, you better hope not.
They become elite. No. I promise you, they're not. That's why they're already looking great right now. Did you see that matchup against the Dodgers? We
my
showed
thing
them
with
a piece.
My thing with y'all is you have a lot of young players that haven't proven themselves yet. That's my thing. And you have no.
Who in the AL is gonna scare me? Who in the AL is gonna scare me?
The Tigers. The aforementioned Tigers, the best team in the league right now.
There's a boy is that thou shalt not judge a mother trucking judge.
Well, let's talk about the Dodgers. They're at number 5. Screw them. We're going to beat them anyways in the playoffs. But Shohei Ohtani, still one of the best players in the world, leading the lead in home runs with
that boy is a freaking unicorn, bro. Scares me.
He is
Scares
definitely
the
a unicorn.
Shit out of me.
Hey, everybody, make sure you subscribe to Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS on YouTube. Please make sure you subscribe. There's a handy QR code up top. You can scan that. That'll take us to our link tree where you can subscribe to our YouTube, follow Instagram, so much more. Also, please make sure you tap in with Hot Take Jake and his brothers at the Final Say Pod on YouTube.
New
Final Say
Thursdays.
Pod. Please make sure you subscribe. They have a hilarious show and great chemistry. Also, make sure you hit that like button. If you're watching now or you're watching on the replay, it is free to you, but it is so invaluable to us. It helps us boost in the algorithm every time you give us one. So if you're watching now, please hit that like button. Let's hit some comments before we move to entertainment. AP, my brother, says LSU is about to take over Omaha. Hey, you know they always do. Don't they lead usually in shots taken? They got the shots taken leaderboard of all the people that take Jello shots. Usually LSU is the winner when it comes to that. I love it. I wish I could go party with them and do that. Wepa, AP, I didn't know you were Puerto Rican. That makes me so happy, brother. We are officially brothers now. Puerto Rican faux life Boricuas. He says baseball is the only thing New York can enjoy. Yeah, football sucks. Basketball, the Knicks just shit the bed. How do you feel about that, Jake? How do you feel about the Knicks shitting the bed after the Celtics let them get away with some bullshit?
If I'm them, I would go. Now, I want, of course, my Spurs to get them, but they got to go after the Greek Freak. Here's the other thing. I think it's time to let Cat go, bro. He's too finesse of a player. He's too finesse. You start bullying him. Boy is very zesty, on and off the court. If you know, I just think he can get pushed around, and I'm sorry. I don't think he's got the championship aspiration in him. He's just a side piece player, in my opinion. Am I right or wrong? Come on, Omar. Spade, bro.
No, the fool is zesty as hell. I get it. Yes, he's very zesty. He's got weird mechanisms and motions and facial expressions and stuff. Look, I like the guy because he's a good player. He doesn't cause any problems. Also, I know how much he went through during COVID, losing like 5 members of his family.
I did hear, yeah, that was sad. I get it.
I feel for the guy, so I try to root for him whenever I can. But is he zesty? Probably. I mean, I can't confirm or deny, but he seems like the personality's a little zesty. Let's disagree. Moving on. We don't need to talk no more about that. I don't care either. By the way, don't come attacking us in the comments. You as a person can be whoever you want to be. Love whoever
Yeah.
you want. Be whoever you want. I don't give a damn. Cool. It don't matter to me. I would support you in any of your choices. AP also says, anyone else notice the Yankees are turning into the Cowboys, all pomp and no circumstance in
You're
the
crazy.
postseason for 15
Yo,
years?
I'm starting to see
That's the
Allen
kind of
as a
stuff I like
low-key
to hear,
hater.
AP. Well, at least he's talking.
When's the last time the Cowboys made a championship?
At least he's talking about his own team. He's talking about the Dallas Cowboys, his own team. You can't be
Forgot
mad at
he
him
is
for
a
that.
Cowboys fan. I give you that.
Now, he is also talking about your bum-ass Yankees, but let's go.
Shut up.
On IG, my brother Bajuan Malave chiming in. We're going to have banter, brawls, and bravado soon. Him, Weeby, Clubber D, and myself. He says, I like the chick that's been putting up the bricks lately. Going back to the Angel Reese conversation that we had a little bit ago while you stepped out, Jake. We had some Angel Reese haters, and I had to tell them, I had to set them straight that she is the next Dennis Rodman and or Karl Malone. Anyways, the Karl Malone.
I need her to step up because I want to see that rivalry live on. Caitlin Clark and her.
Yes, we do.
Or it's going to get very, very one-sided.
Canteen says Falcon Nations, baby. He said no more of the
stop.
Cowboys. Is that's what's happening now, Canteen?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're doing now?
Stop.
Damn, man. Come on, bro.
Michael Penix, bro.
Michael Penix? The old Michael Penix? Oh, taking it back to the bottom line sports stage. Oh, we're about to. We're about to. We just got one more controversial story to go to first before we get there because I have to get your thoughts. Jake, on the Sean Diddy Combs trial so far, it has been explosive. We have heard testimony, from all kinds of women that say they were abused sexually, mentally, and otherwise. Former assistants, former sexual prostitutes that were brought in, male escorts that were forced, including the man named the Punisher, which is such an apropos male escort name. Let's just
was he getting punished?
Right. Oh, I don't even want to know. Zesty as well. Pause. But what I will say is that there's just been a lot to this. And now he was said to have held a girl over the balcony. Then he got a warning last week from the judge about trying to influence the jury by looking at him. Now there's Donald Trump rumors coming in about Diddy using his hotels and things like that. What do you think about this whole situation? This is crazy.
Diddy's about to pull an OJ, man. I think he gets away with this shit. He's just got to sway a couple of guys. I don't know how, bro. What it kid tells from me is this boy is he's very in tune. He's very in tune with a lot of things, bro. He knew what was going on. I think what's saving him also is Cassie. I get it. And I am so for Cassie. I would not want any human being to go through what she went through.
Mm-mm.
But boy, the text messages that show that she was for it help him out a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that will help him. I think Cassie's friends, man, dude, we found out Nipsey Hussle's own damn ex-wife, his wife, what's her name? I forgot her name. Lauren London was in on some of the building, getting some freak offs going on herself, man. I mean, my goodness, bro, this is wild as can be. I think he gets away with it. I don't believe in him. I'll say this: what's going to really piss me off if he gets away with it, and then somehow everybody's praising this guy 3 years from now or something. I hope he gets off the face of the earth and we never see from him again. Hide again. Boy, he's just so not in tune with what he does. He thinks he's bigger than what he does usually. I mean, just think of it. The Cassie video comes out. What happens right after the Cassie video comes out? He throws in a public apology. Hey, idiot. Would you have thrown the public apology if it never comes out? No, in fact, you were defending yourself. Nothing ever happened. But
and that's
yeah,
it wasn't even the public video. It was his apology, which was about him and had nothing to do with apologizing to her.
It was all about I was going through some bad stuff during that time. Shut the fuck up.
I completely agree with you again. Damn, we get off the bottom line sports and we agree on everything all of a sudden. I completely agree. At first, I thought there was no way he was going to get away with this with all the evidence and everything else going on. But I was also said at the beginning of this trial, because I've been talking about it every week on this show, I kept saying he pled not guilty and he didn't take a plea deal. You only do that for two reasons. A,
For sure.
you're fucking crazy, or B, you're sure you're gonna get off with it. Not you're sure you're innocent, because I don't think he's innocent. I don't think he's innocent
so
at
either.
all. Now, the only thing is he thinks he can get away with it. And now that we've gotten further in, where can you actually get him on the RICO charge? Like, there's only a couple places here and there where you can say coercion or things
What
happen.
sucks, it's a lot of hearsay. You know what I mean? A lot of defendants are saying, "Oh, well, we heard in the other room. It was never really like physically see." The closest thing that got closest to seeing her, that was the sex worker, the dude that was having to hit her, bang her after they would fight and shit.
Well, and
he saw
Ventura
the bruise.
and who was it? Morgan, Ventura's like best friend who was hanging out with her all the time. I
Yeah,
forgot
that one too. Yes, you're right about her too. Yes.
So those two
other than them
you
two,
can take, but you're right. Everybody else, you got to take it with a grain of salt, right?
dude, it sucks, bro. It sucks. I mean, and I think he's gonna be able to walk scot free. But like Joey Badass said, man, on I don't know if you were watching listening to any of his raps recently. He says Suge and Diddy in jail, man. Kind of crazy. Both of them in jail right now.
Well,
Currently.
it's funny that you say Suge Knight's name, because he said last week it's going to be okay because Trump is probably going to pardon him.
Oh my gosh!
That's what Suge Knight said from jail. Still throwing shots from jail, the great Suge Knight. All right, cool.
Gosh.
Well, let's move it into this final segment. Please make sure you are subscribed to Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. Make sure you hit that like button, whether watching now or on the replay, and as well, make sure you subscribe to the Final Say Pod on YouTube. Now, for what everybody has been coming for. Ooh, we got some comments here. Hold on. Canteen says, good run, fellas. Appreciate you, my friend. Says, back to the birds. Are you? Okay, you got to stick there now. My uncle, shout out, Bendición, Tío. Te amo. Canteen says, highway robbery. Yes, yeah. And also says, Diddy is very crafty. He didn't get to where he was because he's not a smart and conniving individual. That's for sure.
Omar, I'll tell you this, bro. If I end up finding out that you got a bunch of lotions in your house, bro, I'm gonna baby oil. I'm gonna be worried on you, buddy.
I mean,
I saw some baby oil behind you the other day.
There may be a bunch of lotion. I don't know about baby oil. Deport. Look. This is what y'all came for, man. Right? The Bottom Line Sports has gone to the wayside in terms of Jake and I being on. Canteen and Flo will still continue that legacy when Flo returns from his trip. And Canteen, we still love you. Appreciate you tuning in. There is a reason I didn't bring Canteen on with Jake and I today. That is because of the closeness between Canteen and Flo, and because of the nature of today's program, I did not feel that I wanted to involve Canteen in this. He's had his thoughts before, and I don't want to involve him in any more that may get him into a position that he doesn't want to necessarily be in. That being said, I mean, we're talking about one conniving person. We got to talk about another conniving person. And, there's times in life where you just got to be more respectful to people that you do business with. And even if fantasy football is a game, it is still a business when it comes to money being put on the line and money being involved and people needing to be paid out and so on and so forth.
Let's freeze it real quick.
Please help me out here.
Let's do the rise first. Let's do the rise. It's the rise in the fall.
You're right.
When did you feel that we rose to a top? When did you feel, in your opinion, that, we top dogs right now?
Yeah, I mean, we had a really, really strong summer. Right when you and I joined was at the NBA Finals time, and we blew up, and we were having like 40, 50 live views per show. It was really going well. And then we went into the NFL season, which really helped out because we were there every week, and we were able to, really talk football between the four of us. This was even before the Sunday surge. So I feel like we hit a peak right at probably that first 6 month kind of period was kind of then when we were
going high. I'll never forget that Undertaker one. Remember when I had my hat? I think one of the greatest shows of all time. After that show, I had several people call me up and says, "Bro, I haven't I heard a funnier podcast than the one y'all got going on right now."
That's awesome.
That's when I said, "Yo, bro, I think we're there. I think we made it as a team." I was, everybody was in a piece of what they did in that spot. I thought Flo was on point. No disrespect at the time. Canteen was doing his thing. Omar, the professor himself throwing his stat. He knew everything about everything. So we were going back and forth. The trash talk, everything was flowing so well. I think at that time, I always loved to study who were we a part of with. And not to cut anybody off in the other shows. What is the other shows called? I mean, the program that's
Uh,
Alan's part of. What's it called?
let's talk sports.
Okay. I used to always check everybody's videos and then I check our viewers. And at one point in time, Omar, we were big dogs, buddy. Everybody was watching us. We were going crazy. It was a bottom line coming up. We number one in this joint.
Mhm.
I'm calling it spade a spade. We were there. And then I'll never forget it. We get not a sponsor, it was a sponsorship chalk. I'm not going to go discreet into it. I know somebody was asking Flo if they could promote the show on they drive a vehicle that promotes stuff through year. And not only that, he had a car business to where he could also promote if we could promote it on the show. And it just stopped right there, bro. And Flo said something at that time that opened my eyes a little bit. And this is no hate, that's just all honesty. He just said, "Well, it's my show. I'll figure out what we're gonna do." And right there made me pause and said, "I get it's your show, but I'm not gonna hate on it. And I'm proud of the way it evolved. I would show up on older shows back in the day. But at one point in time, bro, it was not doing so well. Before we got on, is what I'll say. It was not doing so well. And I believe the mix to the with like I said, it's not just the me and your show. We showed up and we were great. Everybody had to put their pull in. But when Flo said that, that was the first cause to pause moment. I stopped and froze, and I just said, "Oh, he's still seeing it as just his show." And one thing, and not to say, "Oh, because bro, what do we do? Either your history is moments you learn from them, or you use them and then do the same shit." And one thing I've tried to tell Juan and Matt, I might be not the star of the show. I would never say that, but I might be the most outspoken one of the show. But I promise you this, I tell them it's all the time. And I told Juan at the beginning, and it's caught to him. And Juan's a very hard-headed individual, and I love the guy to death. But he said, "Bro, one thing that stuck to me is you said, I need you, Jake." I never heard that from Flo ever from telling us that he needed us. And I make sure to affirm both of those guys. And if you ever notice when we're on a break, it's because one of us is missing and we're not going to do it without the other. I told them guys, I did it with y'all. I expect to stay doing it with y'all. It's love from the heart. And it's something I learned from the bottom line. I'm not saying we should have stopped the show. There are days, where you would go out of town. I get it. I understand that. But what I'm saying is I try to affirm my guys that they're special to me. At one point in time, I started feeling that Flo was not feeling that way, that we were special to him, and it was more of his way. Now I know I'm talking a lot, I'm rambling.
No,
I'm gonna
please.
let you go real quick
Yeah.
and just tell me where you thought the turning point. You told me the prime. We're hitting it up 6 months in, we're going crazy. When did you feel that? All right, we're at the top, and instead of going up, we're slowly falling a little.
Yeah, yeah. It was a very similar moment that you had. I think now I remember back you telling me about that car thing. I didn't remember that until you had just told me that, but I do remember that now. At the time you telling me, we did hit the hat moment. Yeah, Canteen. We hit the best moment on the show where the Undertaker hat. I'm coming back with my dad from a brewery in Manassas, and shout out my pops, and we see him wearing this hat. Like, what the hell is this? Clubber D says, "I wonder who called out the great value Undertaker look." Yep, yep.
You
Tremendous
fucking
job,
clever
Clubber D.
D.
Tremendous, always on point. But yeah, so at that point we were really doing very well. We had a lot of momentum, and as you mentioned, there was that, but there was also another sponsorship opportunity through Let's Talk Sports, which we could have had way earlier in the year, but wasn't actually pounced upon until the NFL season finally with Sunday Surge, which by that point I can tell you, me personally, it was around summertime where we had gotten past we had gotten through the lulls of the winter season, which isn't great for anybody in sports because there's not a lot of like active sports going on. But we started coming
Right.
back up when baseball and basketball and hockey were happening, and then we came back down around summertime. And it was really weird because it was like right after the NBA NHL finals, and like we were still going on every day, and we just started going down and going down, and I kept seeing the numbers going down, and I was like, okay, is this worth my time anymore? Because I'm trying to do more shows on my network, and like you said, I affirm my people. I love my people, Clubber D, Bajo, Weeby, all the people that have helped me grow this show. I love them being on there, and I try to always accommodate people's schedules as well, and make people feel like they because I do need them and I do want them. And you're right. It was just like, it felt like if we wanted to make the show a priority, Flow was threatened by that. And it felt like the way that Flow would also talk to you on the program sometimes started kind of getting to me. And
Well, I
that
was
was
going to
actually,
get there. Yep.
that
Yep.
was, yeah,
Yep,
I
you're
guess
right. Keep going.
we're getting there. We're at the summer part still. The summer part is when I first initially thought of quitting last summer. And
I remember you texting me that
Yeah.
at one point in time, private.
Yeah. And I was
And
like,
of course,
I think I don't have the time for this, and I've got a lot more going on. Got country box stuff like that, and we're not gaining any viewers, and we're not doing anything. We lost our momentum, stuff like that. So I was like, I'm gonna probably quit soon. We ended up getting Sunday Surge. That kept me on a little bit because I was like, okay, well, I helped them, reach this point. Let me at least go through the season with them and finish it off. And I was planning on retiring at the end of the season. Anyway, so before we even get that far, that was kind of when I knew we peaked, and then I knew we were on the downside, and I knew that, like you said earlier, with Sugar Sean O'Malley, there was no coming back with that momentum. And even when we got to Sunday Surge, which at that point you would have hoped would have raised the momentum again, it was, at least in my eyes, I had definitely already pulled back from the show, and I had missed a couple Sunday Surges because I was just like, look, I got other things I got to do, and I'm not going to make it a priority if I don't feel like this show is a priority, and I got my own network that I got to run. So anyways, you take over for there. Let me take some comments real quick. AP, wasn't that his wife's hat? Sure was. It was Jennifer's hat. Thank you, Jennifer. We appreciate you for one of the funniest shows. It's his wife's hat. Oh my God. Go watch the minute short or reel, because it was
that was a hit. That was a hit. That was a fucking hit.
Coverdie says you better hush or get muted. Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah.
Just a second. So anyways, go ahead. Take us from there.
So now we're getting there. When you start taking absences, I think here's the thing. I love going outlandish and figuring out because
hold on.
ahead,
One more thing. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I forgot to say this. This at all is no hate on Flow. Everything we're saying in this program is all from honest and true things that have happened. So I don't want anybody think there's any
I'm
hating.
gonna kill myself on what I didn't do. Also, guys. I'm being real. This is real. This is real talk. I'll tell you this. Did I do anything else to help promote the show other than just post it on Facebook? No, absolutely. That's my fault. Failure in that. Now I'm trying to get TikTok open. I'm trying to promote. We do YouTube Shorts, TikTok, stuff like that, where I'm talking to my guys to do that. I never once tried to ask Flo that, but also I got turned off when Flo tells me this is my show. And at times when he would get mad, he would let me know it's his show. When he would get mad is when he would explain to me, it's my show. It's my show, Jake. Go get your own, whatever. You can look up in videos of it all. When you've triggered Flo at points in time, when I did it, the boy would turn to me and tell me that it was his show. So it motivated me to get my own show. Of course, it's not just mine. Like I said, it's my boys. I love it. I would never call it mine. But it's my boys' show with me. And that motivated me, of course, with that. And then the second thing off is when you start doing that to me, it hurt me, And honestly, I paid him every time. I made sure to pay him. And I honestly made sure that, what I could do, I tried. Did Canteen also help with, hey, what are we talking? I saw Canteen's effort. Hey, what are we talking about? And then he'd give a list of what we're talking about. Canteen would do that. Absolutely. I saw it, Canteen. I'm going to point out everything. Flo, like I said, he founded us. He got us all together. I give him that credit. Like I said, I think I got turned off when I started hearing it was his show, and it made me pause to pause. Then you started getting absent. And when you got absent, I would prove him wrong. Look, guys, I'm not dumb to tell y'all. Anybody can predict the Chiefs are making it close to the Super Bowl. That's not the fun part. My goal is to make it interesting. When I make it interesting, I can get. Now, I'm not saying I'm faking stories. No, no, no. I'm really trying to make an educated guess. When I thought Jared Goff could be a fucking MVP, I really believed in it. And then he looked good 2 years ago for me. I really loved it. But I'm trying to make a guess, an outlandish guess that looks outlandish. But in hindsight, my goal is to beat you to the punch so I can tell you, yo, I predicted this way from here. What ended up happening is I do that too many times. Flo would just call me an idiot. Well, Flo, you're not making no outlandish things. I'm the only one doing it. Anybody can predict that the Chiefs are going to be in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Anybody can predict that the Niners are going to be up there, whatever, right? The Eagles, all these teams. I'm trying to do that with inside the show. I think when I ended up being less predictable, outlandish, and just started guessing the easy ones that everybody could guess, it frustrated Flo because I was right. I could figure that out. I get it. But like I said, my goal, one thing I've always learned from a guy I listen to, my goal is not to be right. My goal is to be interesting. That's my goal. I want to be interesting to my fans, to your fans, to everybody's fans. I want y'all to watch it and say, damn, that boy Jake is a fucking idiot. But maybe he's right. I want people to look back and say, damn, Dirk might be better than fucking Kevin Garnett. Really think about it, guys. Go look at that shit when y'all get a chance.
Don't go back on it.
That was the ending. Whenever his ass, though, started disrespecting me on the show, I really got turned off.
Mm-hmm.
And I would really get pissed off. I tell certain individuals, that I was close to that would say, bro, this boy is really pushing my nerves on some stuff. And that's really started pissing me off. And then one time I remember you said that you got calls. Whenever you were getting calls and saying, hey, bro, what happened? Like I got text messages myself that Flo's over there killing Jake, keeps kicking him off the show. My thing was we're all paying the same price. We're all paying the same price for that show. And somehow I didn't have admin rights that whole time. Now, did you give them to me? I'm not sure. You might have. But boy, if me not having them, boy, did you take advantage of it and kept kicking me off. And it started pissing me off real easily. You could do it once or twice here or there. And I can tell when it's fun. And I can also tell when it's too vigorous or you're out of hate.
It's malicious.
It's more of hate. You hate. Yeah, exactly. Malicious. Great word. That's what got me. From then on, I think this was the camel that broke the camel's back. I'm going to turn it back to you. Bro, between me and you, last year,
we're on live
I
TV.
paid Yahoo. Well, yeah. Duh.
Stupid ass. We're on live TV. What are you talking about?
Well, last year, I think my dad paid $35 to Yahoo Sports for the fantasy last year. I don't know if anybody ever won that. And I know me and my dad didn't because my dad said, hey, dude, get me in there. And I'm not trying to put my dad in the middle. He didn't even know. I had told him, dude, I'm in 2 leagues already. I can't handle a third one. And Flo wants me in it. And he said, you know what? If you draft for me, Jake, I could just work on it over the weeks. And then you can just work and just check up on it in the last, before the hour of it's 11 before noon. Mm-hmm. So that was last year. This is not this year what happened. That's why I'm going to point it to you what happens next. That was last year. That $35, I don't know what happened, but I know my dad paid it. I don't know if that guy got it or whatever. I don't know. Me and my dad knew we lost, so we didn't look at it. But I don't know if he got it refunded. I could ask my dad whatever. This year, he asked me, and my dad never came up to me and told me, hey, dude, I'd love to do it again. So I really didn't even try to join this year because I always have my 2 leagues that I do. I do one with my friends and one with my ones from work. So that was the only way I could do it. I control one, and then I have my fantasy with my friends from work. So I can't really, what's it called? Now let's get to you. You did join that fantasy league, and you brought friends along. And I think this is the breaking point. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah. So again, last summer I was already thinking about, retiring, quitting, whatever. I needed to go on and do my own thing. It was, felt the show was coming to an end. And then, we got Sunday Surge, and it was like, okay, well, I'll just stick on through the NFL season. And then I started to see the way he was talking to you and treating you during the show. And yeah, a lot of times it would be funny, but a lot of times you could also see, like you said, when it was actually not from a place of fun, from a place of just wanting to be mean about it. And I also realized that as I had, which was one of the things I did wrong, was started to pull back and miss more shows because I wasn't feeling it, which I think then caused Flo to try to do the same. So then he started missing shows, which I had to start filling in for. Then he gets all his information of him where he's going to be leaving or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, now I have to stay on for the show or the show is going to die. So now I feel like I'm having to do it every week. And it's not like I wasn't
Obligated.
Right. It's not that I wasn't having fun with you in Canteen, but I felt like I was obligated to be there every week when I had other things that I wanted to do. So seeing all these things come into play, knowing about the way that Flo wants to project himself as a person, as a God-fearing man, as a person who loves other people, and all of these things. There were just sometimes, even not only just with you, but with me or with Canteen, it's just like, I'm not really seeing the same person that's telling me all these things, and who I believed in at the beginning of the show, that we had something good that we were going to do with this, and it started to flounder out. And then, so anyways, I go positive into the NFL season. We're doing our show. I'm missing some shows here and there because obviously I got a lot of shit going on. Start to travel, vacation, things like that. We end up entering a fantasy football league, ESPN. We all put our money in. End of the season comes along. By the way,
How much was everybody putting in?
$60 a piece.
Okay.
So it's $60 a piece to join the league. Top prize is $400, I believe, like $200, and then like $100. Because it was a 12-person league for $60. So okay, I invite my buddy, one of my best friends from the military, to come play in the league because Flo needed one more person to make 12 or whatever. So I grab my buddy. I'm not going to name his name. That's not important. He comes in, pays his money. So fantasy season goes through. My friend ends up winning the championship, ends up winning the $400. So we're going through the season. We're going through Christmas. I'm back home now at this point. I get a text sometime after Christmas, maybe like a week after Christmas or something like that. And my buddy's like, hey, I still haven't got my money. You know what's going on, kind of thing. I was like, oh, well, he's been busy with his trip. And I say trip, it's much more serious than that. So I'm just using trip as a cover. You don't really need to know anybody, but it was more important to that. So it wasn't like he was just at the time, taking a vacation. So anyways, I was like, but hey, I'll check into it for you. But at this time, Flo wasn't really on the show anymore. He was, doing his thing, getting ready. He was not really participating at this point.
Right.
So, messages are sent to Flo online by text, things like that, asking what's up, blah, blah, blah. Nobody hears anything for the first, few weeks. Comes around, it's probably like a month after, maybe 3 weeks after, a month after the season has ended, which if
This
anybody
is now probably going to February, right? We're going into February.
Almost
we're almost near the Super Bowl.
End of
we're
January.
almost near
Super Bowl time is about right about before Super Bowl. So, and for anybody who doesn't play fantasy football, when you play fantasy football, you are supposed to be paid out the day after the season is over. If you are a commissioner and you collect money, you put all that money in a safe place, or you keep it in the Venmo, you keep it in the PayPal, you keep it in a bank, and or if you're going to spend it, which, hey, fine, just make sure you have money backed up that you can later replenish the coffers to be able to pay people at the end of the season. So,
right.
Come to find out, he hadn't been paid. He hits up second place. Second place tells him, oh, I got my money at the end of the season. So now my friend's like, yo, what the fuck is happening right now? So he hits me up. He's like, hey, yo, sends me the screenshot. And I'm like, damn, that's jacked up. So I'm starting thinking to myself, and I'm like, okay, what could be the reason that something like this would have happened? Obviously, at some point, there had to be some financial situation that happened, whereas the money needed to be used, and only and was thought at the time that would be able to be replenished and paid back, and then things ended up compounding upon themselves. That's how I understand the situation to have happened. A financial situation that compounded, did not allow for everyone to be paid at the end of the season. The other way I look at that is that the people that were paid second and third place were people that have been part of the league, part of the group for a long time. My buddy was brought in at the last meeting, didn't even participate in the group. My thought on it at the time was Flo said, okay, I don't know who this guy is, and probably no one does. I can get away with not paying him for a while until I get this figured out, and then I can pay him later and no one's going to say anything. Little did he know, this is one of my really, really good friends that was going to tell me automatically when this happened. Make a long story short from here, because I know Jake has to get off.
You're good.
It ended up being a bunch of ignored messages, a bunch of thumbs up at messages, a bunch of I'm going to do this in 2 weeks, I'm going to do this in 2 weeks.
False promises.
False promises, pushing back, delaying, things like this, then finally come along where I'm getting to my breaking point, because not only is my friend sending me texts where he's upset, which is putting me in the middle and upsetting and stressing me out, then all my friends know about it. So now all my whole group chat knows about it. My dad knows about it. Like, everybody knows about it. Everybody's coming to me asking me what the fuck is going on. I'm having to deal with all this shit. I'm like, I don't even want to be in the middle of this. I just wish this shit was over. Please just pay him. So I go to Canteen and I'm like, yo, we got to figure this out. I can't keep going like this. It's been 4 months. All right, 4 months at this time it had been. It was April at this time. And I said, Canteen, we got to figure this out. We cannot do this any longer. So Canteen said, all right, I'm going to work something out. So, and this is, I first of all want to say I love Canteen. He's my brother. I love him. There's no disrespect at all against Canteen. Canteen had nothing at all done wrong. He is the least person to have done any wrong out of all of us in this breakup. Just put it that way.
Absolutely.
If there was anyone that caused the least irreparable harm, it was Canteen. So I want to say that first. But what I will say is that Flo and Canteen have a relationship, and this was shown, and I first noticed this when the whole Cowboys-Falcons thing kept coming up. Canteen and Flo are such good friends and so close, and Canteen trusts Flo so much that Canteen is not influenced easily. I'm not going to say that, but Canteen will willingly change his opinion to agree with Flo because he wants Flo to feel good about himself. It's not that Canteen's just a really good guy, and he just wants everybody to feel good. So he'd rather let himself sit in the background, which is what he always did in the show, to lift everybody else up, which is why Canteen's such a great guy. But in this same aspect, then when Flo is like, hey, you take over the StreamYard, I'll pay you my portion, and then you can pay him back. I heard this at first, and I was befuddled. And I started thinking about this, and it took me a couple days to like really assess what is really happening. And I'm thinking to myself, why the hell would you take over the StreamYard, Canteen? First of all, you're supposed to be paying the lump sum to my buddy, and then Flo's going to pay you back. But if that's the case, Flo should still be paying the StreamYard, and you should not be paying him, and you should be taking that out of his ass every month. Okay, I'm not paying you 30 this month. I'm not paying you 30 next month. So 30 up to 400, right? I'm not paying you for 13 months. You're giving me free StreamYard. And that's how that should have worked, and it would have been really easy. But somehow, some way, Canteen ended up getting the StreamYard put on his finances, his bank statement, and Flo made out like the Mad Dasher off to another foreign land. And so at that point, I'm like, yo, that's fucked up. How are you going to do that to you? How are you going to try? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Let's say that Flo didn't do it on purpose. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Say he didn't do it on purpose. He didn't realize what he was doing. That makes no logical sense. Why would I pay the full $90 a month when I have to pay the lump sum to this guy? You're the one that should be doing that and giving me money every month. That's not what happened. So now Canteen, who was not ready for this arrangement and did not have the proper funds prepared to be able to do this sort of thing, because obviously Flo caught him. I don't know if I don't want to say caught him off guard, but Flo and him had this deal that happened at the last minute. So Canteen's like, well, I need a couple weeks. I can't do it right now. And I understand. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get that. But at the same time, we're getting middle of April. Now we're getting past his birthday. We're getting I'm talking about my friend's birthday, whose birthday
We're
is
getting closer to May, ain't we?
10 days earlier than mine. We're getting towards my birthday. Now I'm like, okay, no, something has to happen. So I call Canteen. I'm like, no, we've got to get something done today. We've got to at least get him half of the money today. So I end up sending my buddy some money. Canteen pays me back. Cool, whatever. We get that out of the way. Actually, to be completely honest and upfront, because I want Canteen to get all the credit for this, we did it at the same time. So Canteen was basically paying it. I just paid from my account to my buddy because I had his email. So I have no part of that. I don't want to take any credit for it. It was Canteen. But still $200 are now owed to my buddy, who still hasn't been paid the full amount, which, by the way, one of the funniest things I heard in this whole thing, and shout out to Clubber D for tuning in. So it says only respectable leagues do that in terms of paying your people on time. But one of the funniest things I heard in this whole thing when I was telling the story to one person that I will not name is, why the hell does the $400 got to be split up anyways? Like, and that's nothing on Canteen. That was more towards Flow. Like, you have to get to yourself into some kind of conundrum, some kind of situation that is so extreme. I right now have spent a lot of money lately on vacationing, things like that. My bank account is a little only on the low. Even then, if I needed to pay somebody $400 tomorrow, I could. I'm not that hurting, and I'm not getting paid monthly in the military. So there's another disconnect there as well. But we'll let all that go and just say, okay, $200 left. What are we going to do now? Finally, Flo, to his credit, pays the $200 to finish everything off. The only problem is it was 5 months later. We are at the beginning of May when my buddy gets paid. The stress, the anger that was caused to him, the stress that was caused to me for being in the middle of it, the stress that was caused to Canteen for being thrown in the middle of this, the irreparable harm which was done to the show and to our relationships, because I will be completely honest right now, while I was already thinking of retiring back last summer, this was, as you said, the straw that broke the camel's back. I can no longer associate myself with someone who would do something like that. Now, I'm not saying I dislike Flo. I don't. I'm not saying nothing like that. I respect Flo. I still have love for Flo. We can still be boys, whatever. But I myself will not associate myself on a show or pretty much in general either. And again, I'm not saying I don't like Flo and I won't talk to him, but I can't associate myself with someone who's going to do that and be so nonchalant about the things that are happening and not care the fact that there are other people getting hurt by this whole situation other than just the person not being paid, which is the person who's aggrieved the most in this. But there's other people involved in this situation.
Would you say we lost subscribers because of this as well?
Oh my God. Did we lose subscribers? Pretty much most of my group chat unsubscribed. There's a couple left that really like sports and wanted to stay in the group just for the news and stuff, but pretty much everybody unsubscribed and stopped watching us.
I noticed that.
And stopped watching us. People stopped watching the Bottom Line Sports. Trust was gone. Trust was eroded. We had lost it. The mojo was gone. There was no gaining it back. And again, nothing against Flo from my personal thing at all, but the situation put me to a point where I could no longer associate myself with his actions. Again, I'm not going to put it on him as a person, but those are actions that, I mean, he claims to be this sort of person, which I agree he is most of the time. And I would normally say, okay, he's probably, a better person than I am. But this is not something that I would ever do.
Yeah.
I
get it.
So,
and the way to close it out on this is,
please.
I think we were there a little too long. I think in the end, like you said, the mojo was falling. I get it. I believe there was disrespectful moves. Like I said, did I ever go out of my way to make the show better? No, that's on me too. I got to take that. I got to take that as the L for me. In the end, do I appreciate him giving us me the opportunity.
Sure,
Absolutely,
of course,
absolutely.
and all the effort he put into the show. I have always said that to him every month. I say thank you for the images,
He
thank you for the
started the
videos.
intro, right? He had the
Awesome,
videos,
perfect. Thank
never
you, bro.
touched it. He did that, all him. Give it to him all day of the week. He had the closing and the opening. Hell, me and Matt are just now trying to figure that out on our show right now. We got fucking copyrighted with the damn last one. I don't know how we did. It was a
Oh
non-copyright song. I
shit.
know it makes no sense.
Hey, let me know because
But
I got some beats that I a bunch of beats that I leased that I have copyright.
I might have to then,
Okay.
yeah, I'll probably hit you up privately on that after. But yeah, like I said, bro, in the end, I appreciate you, Flo. I appreciate Canteen. I appreciate them both.
Definitely
I
can't love you,
appreciate meeting my boy, Omar, the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT
brother.
himself. Um, the show did what it was supposed to do.
Mhm.
And that's why I said in that long messages when I sent it privately, I said, look, I appreciate all of y'all for this, but I think in our respective categories, maybe we can all in one day in time have a reunion show or just a comeback one episode show here or
Sure,
there.
sure.
Or you can come on my pod one day. I know more than ever you'll be on one of my pods soon. Um uh Same thing with Canteen where we could be on, he could be on ours, we could be on theirs with something. I just wanted it to be respectful in that
Mhm.
aspect. Like I said, I completely agree. I think it was months too long. The way I see it was once you put the toothpaste out of the damn you can't
True.
take the toothpaste out of the damn container and then think you can put it back in the tube. Can't.
Right.
That's what it was. And one of the messages that kind of rubbed me the wrong way was when he paid, he said, "Hey, we should be back to normal, guys, whatever." No, no, no. Hey, dude. That was wild to me hearing that. That's
Okay.
not for you to decide. You just heard a friend, you heard a co-host that has been dealing with this shit for the past 5 to 6 months, and you just thought it was just gonna be, oh, water under the bridge. No, 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 bro. You gotta understand that. And that's the way I see it too. But once again, I'll say it.
And
I
and,
appreciate
and
them.
just to have a funny moment to go out on, the fact that he had the nerve in the message to say, "Hey guys, make sure you pay Canteen for StreamYard," when my boy still hadn't been paid yet. No, I'm not paying you till my buddy gets paid. And then right when my buddy got paid,
Oh wow.
I sent Canteen the money immediately for the month.
Wow.
Immediately, right when he
Okay.
got paid.
Okay. I didn't know
So, and
that. I didn't know that
there's
he hadn't paid yet.
well, there's one other.
I never.
Oh yeah. When he sent that message, he hadn't fully paid yet. But he did right after that. One thing we will not bring up that was done. Hot Take Jake heard a conversation one time, and we're not going to out anybody because we really don't need to be disrespectful or say things like that. But Flo, you said something one time when you didn't know that Jake was listening, and what you said was very messed up. And I'm not going to announce it out loud because I'm not trying to put you on blast, and I don't. People don't need to know, but just know that you need to be very more careful when you're talking about people when you if you don't know they're there, because things that you say are very hurtful, and trying to take advantage of other people is not cool. So that's what I'll say on that.
I agree. I agree. That's the way I'll close, man. I mean, like I said, I'll appreciate them.
Yeah, appreciate all
Love both those
appreciation.
guys.
Hey,
I love you, my
again,
boy.
hey, one day we will have another bottom line reunion show sometime years down the line, and we'll laugh about everything, whatever, blah blah. But right now, I cannot associate myself with that show.
I
I
get it.
cannot associate myself with him, and it doesn't matter because he's not going to be back for the next 9 months or so anyway. So the show's not going to happen. I feel bad for Canteen. I'm gonna bring Canteen on my show sometimes, but that show's not going to start happening again till what, next year. So I don't. I have too much going on.
I,
I want to
right
build
there.
Ball and Buds. I got Country Box. I got all this. I got a new client. I got all this other shit going on. I didn't have time anymore. Time to retire. Bottom Line Sports had a great run, amazing run. Shout out to Flo. Shout out to Canteen. My brother Hot Take Jake. I love you, man. We're gonna start doing. Actually, we need to start recording our show on Tuesdays now that we have this open. How do you think about that?
That's fine with me, brother.
Okay. Are you always off
That's
at the
fine.
same time on Tuesdays, just like you were
Yeah.
for Bottom Line? Okay, we'll start making this the Total Evisceration recording session. Y'all look out. Total Evisceration coming soon. I know I keep saying that, but it's hard to edit all these videos. So we'll get to it, though. I promise.
And tell me what I need to help in. I got you, bro.
And
Tell me
see,
what I
I love
need.
you for that. You said that since day one. Hey, what can I help you with on videos, things like that. So that's awesome. I appreciate you. Yeah, that's right, AP. They don't call him Hot Take Jake for nothing. Hey, my brother Hot Take Jake, tell them where they can find you. And let's get out of here.
Right now, Final Say Pod Thursdays. Usually we do it right at midnight. So y'all guys, please subscribe, follow. We kind of what is that? Reconstructed ourselves. We kind of put ourselves in the talk first. So if you like the talking points of what we're talking about life stuff, scenario stuff like that at the beginning, and then we switch it to sports towards the middle of it. So whether or you like the most, I have people that come and tell me, bro, y'all talk like I feel like I'm in the room talking to y'all in a barbershop talk. And then some people tell me, bro, I love the sports takes you're throwing. It's fucking hilarious. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to mix both in. Like I said, every Thursdays. I know Total Evisceration's on its way here soon too. You can catch me on there. And then I know for sure we will go into 2 episodes come fall. Well, the final say with we will separately do sports and just our own talk during that time. So
Yeah,
so okay,
one thing I
go
will say
crazy.
about you is did tell me you like to learn from the legends and goats like myself, and I do see how you like to bite my style a lot, and I do see how the Final Say Pod turned into banter, brawls, and bravado pretty fucking quickly. And don't act like I didn't see that, but I love you anyways, and I love the actual format because that's my kind of thing too. So hey, anyways, amazing time. Thank you, my brother, for 2 hours. I know you only said an hour and a half, so I appreciate you.
Oh,
Y'all
you're
make sure
good,
you
brother.
tap in at the Final Say Pad. Also, make sure you subscribe at Ball and Buds. It's down there. QR code up top. Follow on YouTube. Follow on Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. We just had our first 10,000 viewed short, and we gained 70 subscribers on the weekend. So start coming in and join, and we are blowing up at
Hell
Ball
yeah.
and Buds. Holla. 5,000.
We out.
He's with the millions.
It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat close. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back. In fact, this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan, and you have no need to know. You came prepared, now get ready for